Hari Om. Welcome you all to this another session of OLA, Open Learning for All, Sanskrit Sahitya Rasaswada series. We are reading Shakuntalam and we have just started the fourth act. And we have seen that the Shishya has come out and seen that it is Prabhata, and then Anasuya enters, and then we start, right? So before we start, Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So Anasuya says, Yadyapi nama Vishaya Parangmukhasya Janasya Tanna Viditam Tathapi Tena Radnya Shakuntalayam Anariyam Acharitam. Anariyam Acharitam. So Rajarshi Dushyanta is Arya. How could he behave in such an Anarya manner? That means this is a Suchana. He is going to behave in Anarya manner in the fifth act. Okay, so this is also a dhvani. So small sentences, even the prose sentences, they are filled with some suggestions. So Anaryam Acharitam. So it is not yet Acharitam as of we know of it, but then he is going to behave in a very bad manner, in a very hurting manner with Shakuntala, and that will happen in the fifth act. Okay. Now the Shishya leaves, and now Anasuya, she is really very disturbed. A person like Anasuya, who always keeps her composure, who always keeps her bearing, the maturity level intact, for her to get disturbed, that means it is really very serious matter. Otherwise, Anasuya would never ever remark that Tena Radnya, not even taking his name, Tena Radnya, Anaryam Acharitam. And now she says, Pratibuddha api kim karishyami. I have woken up now. I didn't know it is Prabhata, but I have woken up. But what do I do? Tila काही सुचतच नाहीये. She is so सैरभैर झालंय तिचं मन. That means she is so disturbed. She doesn't know what to do. Even after waking up, there is a lined up routine for her. There is a dinacharya. For all the hermit people, there is a routine dinacharya. She must be following that every day. But this day has, asa ujadlai divas. She doesn't know what to do. This is also again an indication, ek anamik hurhur. She can't articulate it, what it is. But then the same day we come to know that Shakuntala will be sent away by Kanva. And therefore she is so disturbed. And the reason, the apparent causes of disturbance are not seen here. But there is something hidden, and perhaps that is bothering her, and that gets reflected in her speech. Pratibuddha api kim karishyami. And even if I know that he is Anarya, that king is not living up to the standards, he is not maintaining the status of the Puru king, yet what can I do? Pratibuddha api kim karishyami. Name uchiteshu api nija karaniyeshu hastapadam prasarati. Uchiteshu, what is proper for me, and nija karaniyeshu, the things which I alone can accomplish. Some assignments of duties to everybody, right? So some duties have been assigned to her. Nija karaniyeshu, swaswa karmasu karaniyeshu, uchiteshu api, which I should have done and I would be doing every day, but name hastapadam prasarati. Hastapadam is a samahara dvandva compound, and therefore it is not hastapadau prasarataha or something like that. It is prasarati ekavachana. This is so colloquial, you say. In Marathi we say, माझे हाथ पाय चालत नहीं आहेत, मेरे हाथ पैर नहीं चल रहे हैं. मतलब, we have it in other languages. Bangla में भी है. So we have it in every language. The base is here in Sanskrit. Name hastapadam prasarati. So, in these dialogues we come across, I don't remember if I have pointed out some such phrases where, the colloquiality of Sanskrit language is seen. Normally, we have Sanskrit as a very classical, ornate language, it's only literary piece, literary language. But was it spoken language once upon a time? See, Name hastapadam prasarati. This is so very colloquial, isn't it? Name hastapadam prasarati. Kamaha idanim sakamo bhavatu yena asatya sandhe jane shuddha hridaya sakhi padankarita sthanankarita. So, kamaha idanim sakamo bhavatu. See, Anasuya, she has already stated that Vishaya parang mukhasya janasya. Okay. So, all the hermit people, they are not aware of the Vishaya sukha. Naturally, they are not aware of the workings of Kamadeva. But now this Sakhi of theirs, the Priya Sakhi, she was made to love a person who came from a city. So, asatya sandhe jane, and that person is not true to his words. What he had promised? Within 3-4 days, I would send somebody, and with great pomp and all, behaving like a royal queen, a Patta Mahishi, I will call you. I won't take you with me, but I will call for you. And he has given the Anguliyaka. Another thing he's promised that Dve pratishthe kulasya me samudra rasana cha urvi sakhishcha yuvayoho iyam, right? So these are the only 2 pratishthas. So he has said so many things, but he is not keeping his words. So his sandha, his maryada is asatya. Asatya sandhe jane. Contrary to that, we always speak of Prabhu Ramachandra as Satya Sandha, right? He is Asatya Sandha Jana, and our friend who made her love this Asatya Priya king, it is Kamadeva. Kamaha idanim sakamo bhavatu. Let that Kama get satisfaction. That he made my dear friend love that fellow, who is not keeping his promises. And how is this Sakhi? Shuddha hridaya Sakhi padam karita. He is Asatya Sandha Jana, and here is the hermit girl who is Satya Priya and very pure hearted. Shuddha hridaya. Nairmalyam manasaha. Okay. So she doesn't ever would entertain any idea of deceiving anybody, hurting anybody, to dur ki baat hai, right? Deceiving anybody would not even touch her mind. So that sort of Shuddha Hridaya Sakhi, Padankarita, she was made to love who? Asatya Sandhe Jane. By whom? By Kamadeva. Let that Kama get satisfied forever now. Hereafter he won't have such satisfaction. He has had his hearts filled, by making Shakuntala love that person and get cheated by him. So that is the anger, that is the anguish, and that is causing the disturbance to Anasuya, and that is why Name hastapadam prasarati. All the time, she may not be having sleep overnight, but morning she will have to wake up and do the things, and therefore she says Pratibuddhapi kim karishyami. Because whatever things I have to do, normally I have been doing, I don't feel like doing all these things. So the great agitation of Anasuya's mind is because of this. And therefore she wants to blame the king for that. In her anxiety, in her depression, in her agitated state of mind, she wants to criticize and blame and abuse the king. But immediately thereafter, she remembers the curse of Durvasa. He is a Rajarshi. Everywhere, Kalidasa has taken utmost care to portray his hero, unlike the Mahabharata's hero, who knew she was Shakuntala and yet said, I don't remember you. Who remembered her and yet he said he doesn't remember her. Unlike that hero, Kalidasa wants to portray his hero as Dhiro Datta, and therefore his Aryatva, his Rajarshitva are time and again emphasized everywhere through everybody's speech. And therefore she immediately recollects, oh, there was a Shapa. Athava. So first, blame karke ho gaya. In the agitated mind, this is a natural reaction. This is also so very psychologically very tenable. Nothing illogical in that. When we are disturbed, we first, त्याच्यामुळे असं झालं. And then we say, no, but he must have behaved in this manner because there was a reason. Then we put our logic. First we become illogical, and first it is all, the anger is vented out. The anger and anxiety, they are vented out. And for that, we have to make one person object of your anger, right? Criticism. And therefore, Dushyanta ko bana diya asatya sandhejane. But immediately she recollects, Athava, Durvasa shapa evsha vikarayati. Or this is the shapa of Durvasa who is causing such alterations in situations. Vikaram janayati. Vikarayati, vikaran janayati. Anyatha, otherwise, then she wants to justify him. Anyatha, katham sa rajarshihi. See now, asatya sandha jana to rajarshi, because his original pratima is rajarshi, is that of rajarshi, and not asatya sandha person, right? And therefore she comes back to his originality, his original nature of Arya, Puru, king. Anyatha, katham sa rajarshihi तादृशानि मंत्रयित्वा एतावतः कालस्य लेखमात्रमपि न विसृजति. एक बोटभर चिट्ठी सुद्धा नाही पाठवतायत, बोटभर पत्र नाही पाठवतायत, not even 2 lines later. बोटभर like this much. Boat is finger. This is a proverb in Marathi, okay? I don't know whether in your languages, Telugu, Bangla, you have. But then in Marathi we have बोटभर चिट्ठी नाही पाठवतायत. खुशाली कळवता येत नाही तुम्हाला. So not even 2 liner, 1 liner later he could send etavatah, etavatah kalasya, for such a long time. And this becomes more grave a situation, especially when tadrisham mantrayitva, when he talked all those niceties that time in the 3rd act. Dve pratishthe kulasya me and all that. Parigraha bahutvepi. Though I have many wives, still I would entertain only 2 of them. Samudra rasana cha urvi and sakhi cha yuvayoho iyam. Right? So that was what he said. And when Anasuya had pleaded that Ashochaniya, she should not be, grieved upon for, why she married this fellow. Aisa kabhi hona nahi chahiye. And then you had promised all nice things. So tatha mantrayitva. So this all goes back to the 3rd act. Okay. So anyatha kathams and rajarshihi. This is also very sakuta bhipraya, very anvarthaka visheshana. Rajarshihi tadrishani mantrayitva etavatah kalasya lekhamatram na visrajati. Lekhamatram. This is also colloquial. Botbhar chitti. 2 लाइन नहीं बोल सकते कि मैं ठीक हूँ और तुमको भेजने के, तुमको लाने के लिए मैं कुछ प्रयास कर रहा हूँ. एटलीस्ट सम फोन कॉल नहीं है लेकिन लेटर तो भेज सकते हैं ना. लेखमात्रमपि न विसृजति. सो वेरी colloquial. Okay. तदितः, then she gets an idea. तद इतः अभिज्ञानमंगुलीयकं तस्य विसृजावः. Let us both, because she and Priyambada only, these are the only 2 people who know about the curse, and the Ushshapa also, that Abharana darshanena, he will remember the shapaha nivartishyate, etc. So itaha, from here, abhijnanamanguliyakam, the ring, which is the token of recognition, visrujavaha, let us send it to him. Just imagine that they were really successful in sending the ring. What would have happened? Nothing would have happened. 5th act would not have happened at all. There would have been no Shakuntala, Pratyakhyana and all those things, and the whole drama would have lost its charm. The dramatic element, the irony, ironical situation wouldn't have been there at all. And therefore, and she, when the idea comes, she is thinking, you see, how best way could be employed in which Shakuntala and Dushyanta would be reunited as the husband and wife. The true place of a married woman is with her husband's house, in the husband's house and not in the parents' house. That everybody knows, and even now it continues, right, in the 21st century. So now how to have this accomplished? So one thing was there, that Anguliyakam Visrujavaha. Okay, the idea comes. Whom should we send? Whom should we send, right? If we send somebody telling that no, this Anguliyaka is very, very important because this is Abhijnana, then the curse episode, Avayoho Mukhe Eva Esha Vrittantaha Tishtadu, that would have been harmed. Ko Nama Ushnodakena Navamallikam Sinchati, that would have perished. I mean, that would have lost its significance. But she gives a very practical reasons why she can't find anybody to send that ring to Dushyanta. Thank God. Thank God there is none around whom she can send. What she says? Itaha Abhijnana Anguliyakam Visrujavaha. But the problem here is, see, all these working, we can do this, but then there is a problem. I could have done that, but then there is another problem. What do I do? Kim Karishyami. Ultimately, Kim Karishyami. So what is the reason now? Dukkhashile tapasvijane kaha abhyarthyatam. Who shall I request? Who shall be requested by me? Okay, who shall be requested by me amongst the people, tapasvi jana. This is Jatau Ekavachanam, not only one person. So many batus over there, all the hermit boys, tapasvi jane. How are they? Dukkhashile. They are very, sorrowful in a state. Why? Tapasvi, they are doing tapas all the time. So who has the time to go from here to the city and spend their time, valuable time of tapas into traveling and meeting the city people and all that? Normally, the rural people don't want to go to the city because they get, flabbergasted, and they get confused and lost in the sammarda. That we will see in the 5th act when Sharangrava and Sharadvata both go there and how they feel out of place after going to the city. So that is the normal situation. They would look at the high, tall risers like this and this, So it's all different. And they are not used to, number one. And secondly, already they are doing so much of tapas. Where is the time for them? So I can't ask anybody, that please go and send this ring. Please go and give this ring to the king. So dukkhashile tapasvijane ko namya abhyarthyatam. Okay, so sending somebody visrujavaha, that option is gone. But now Kanva has to be informed. Kanva has come back. Now as the matron, so to say, or as a senior friend of Shakuntala, it is her duty to let Kanva know about what all happened in his absence. But how would I tell him? Nanu sakhi gami doshaha iti vyavasita api na parayami pravasa pratinivrittasya tata kashyapasya dushyanta parinitam apanna sattvam shakuntalam nivedayitum. Na parayami nivedayitum. I am not able to narrate or inform nivedayitum. Kasya tata kashyapasya. How is tata kashyapasya? Pravasa pratinivrittasya, who had just returned from his journey. I don't have any guts, I don't have any courage. Na nivedayitum parayami vyavasita api. Though I am ready, I know how to convey the things in the best sugar-coated manner and all that. Still, I cannot do that. Why? Sakhi gami doshaha iti. Because the dosha will all be resting on my friend, on Shakuntala. how come during the absence of the fatherly figure like Kanva, how Shakuntala could take that daring step of marrying Dushyanta by Gandharva Vivaha. So all the dosha, all the criticism would go against my friend. She doesn't want her friend to be blamed by Tata Kashyapa. See the protective nature of Anasuya. She could have done that. It is not she, you know. शकुंतला तुम्हारी लड़की है, देखो उसने शादी कर ली, ये हुआ वो हुआ. And how is Shakuntala now? She is Dushyanta Parinitam and Apanna Sattvam. Not only Parinita, so much time has passed by, minimum 5-6 months as we calculated last Sunday, right? So Apanna Sattvam, so the indications of her pregnancy are so very clearly visible on her physique, on her body. So Apanna Sattvam, Dushyanta Parinitam, Shakuntalam, प्रवास प्रतिनिवृत्तस्य तातकाश्यपस्य निवेदयितुम् अहं व्यवसिता सती अपि न पारयामि कस्मात् सखीगामी दोषः इति कृत्वा. I don't want Kanva to blame Shakuntala for all that. Otherwise, you know, if you want to shrug your shoulders, oh, I didn't know anything, it is your daughter, she took the decision, that's very easy. When you don't own a particular thing or a person, you don't take the side of the person. Now here comes the ownership, and the ownership comes through love. She loves her friend so much that she doesn't want to expose her to the so-called unseen wrath of Kanva. पता नहीं, है ना? वो गुस्सा होंगे, नहीं भी होंगे. But then she doesn't want to expose her friend, she wants to protect her till the last moment. This is the characteristic of Anasuya. Very, very generous character, very magnanimous at heart, so very protective and caring and loving friend of Shakuntala, right? So, Sakhi Gami Doshaha iti kritva iti vyavasitapi na parayami pravasa pratinivrittasya tatakashyapasya Dushyanta Parinitam Apanna Sattvam Shakuntalam Nivedayitum. Now, when she says Dushyanta, see the words which she has used. Tena Radnya Shakuntalayam Anaryam Acharitam. Then Tatha Mantrayitva Sarajarshihi Lekhamatram na Visrujati. So Tena Radnya to Rajarshi, and now she names him Dushyanta. She names him Dushyanta. By the very utterance of the name, the whole lineage of Dushyanta comes forward. So this is also very gradually, you know how she absolves Dushyanta of all the anaryatva. Tena Radnya Anaryamacharitam. So she is blaming him for the first. Then she calls him Rajarshi because she remembers Durvasa's curse. And now she is ready to name him as Dushyanta. That means in her mind she has forgiven Dushyanta because this is all caused by the shapa. She gets convinced thereby. So this gradual progress of addressing the king, that is also very remarkable. See, very small things, you know, but how the nuances come forward when we look at every word in the different situations. So from Tena Radnya to Rajarshi to Dushyanta, the very name Dushyanta takes his lineage from Paurava dynasty. So he is not any Tom, Dick and Harry, he is a Puru king, Pauravanam Raja, you know, like Maharishi, Rajarshi. So all that lineage, all that grandeur and the Aryatva, the nobility, everything gets attached to that. Dushyanta Parinitam. And Parinitam, it is, you know, Parinitam, Agni Parinaya. Parinaya normally speaks of Agni Parinaya. Now there was no Agni Parinaya, as we see, it is a Gandharva Vivaha. But as Agni Parinaya, मोहर लगा देता है marriage पे, you know, it like endorses the marriage and validates it, right? Similarly, the Gandharva Vivaha is also as valid as the Agni Parinita Vivaha. So that sanctity of the Vivaha ritual by Agni Parinaya, by circumambulating the fire, that is also given, that is also suggested. So Gandharva Vivaha was, you know, agreed to and admitted in the society on all levels, that also we come to know about it. So Dushyanta Parinitam Apanna Sattvam Shakuntalam Nivedayitum Ithangate Asmabhihi Kim Karaniyam. Again now, so what to do? Kim Karishyami? That question is a big question mark. Kim Karishyami. So she has so many options. So when a person is all alone, so many thoughts pour into your mind, and you give vent to that, and how she has been discussing all her mental thoughts, but there is a logical flow in all that, okay? But now it has come to a standstill. The position is Kanava has returned from his Somatirtha journey, and this Shakuntala is Apanna Sattva. If he sees her like that, it will be like shock to him. Somebody has to go and tell him that. Who will do that? And how one is supposed to do that? Ithangate. Now, when the situation comes to this, it's like a standstill. Nobody knows what to do. Ithangate. Kim karaniyam asmavi. Ata apan काय बरं करावं? Again, a very colloquiality of this Sanskrit language. Ithangate asmabhihi kim karaniyam. So again, nonplussed. What to do? So very grand soliloquy. I personally like it very much because it reveals so many things of her character, of some future things, and so many other things are there. Pravishya Priyamvada enters now, and Saharsham, she is bubbling with joy. She says, Sakhi, tvarasva tvarasva. Come, make haste. You know, why? Shakuntalayaha prasthana kautukam nivartayitum. Because we have to accomplish the kautuka, the Mangalya Puja, some benedictory rites, while she is being sent, prasthana, sent to her husband's house, naturally. So शकुंतलेची पाठवणी करायची है, विदाई, उसकी विदाई होने वाली है, उसके लिए कुछ मंगल करना है. प्रस्थान कौतुकम निवर्तयितुम त्वरस्व शकुंतलायाः. So till now there was a question how Kanva should be informed of this, and now here comes a very good news. Oh, Shakuntala is being sent to her husband's house. How this happened all of a sudden? Sakhi katham etad? Because she is in a very anxious mode, and all of a sudden Priyamvada enters, bubbling as it is. She is a sweet speaking girl, and now she is like dancing. She comes, tvarasva tvarasva Shakuntalayaha prasthana kautukam. Katham etad? How did it all happen? Shrunu. Now she has something, which Anasuya doesn't know. So when you know something, you want to share it, how you will build up that anxiety, the curiosity. She does exactly the same. Idanim, so she starts from the beginning. काय झालं सांगू का? What happened? What happened? Idanim, sukha shayita pritchika Shakuntala sakasham gatasmi. I had gone to Shakuntala in the morning. For why? Shakuntalam gata asmi. Okay, why? Sukha shayita pritchika, to ask whether she slept nicely during the last night, the previous night. Sukha shayita. Prashtukamaya, tadrishiya, bala, sa sukha shayita pritchika. So there is this role. Mind you, there is this role. And normally and this also suggests, that Shakuntala is going to be a Pattamahishi, a queen in the house. So it is not that as in the hermitage, she will wake up at the early dawn, early daybreak, dawn, and do all the things. There she will be awakened by some bards. They will come and ask first, oh, did Maharani sleep very nicely during the last night? Everything is good. And there will be some songs sung, and there will be, as Meghaduta says, Meghaduta describes it very nicely. Yaksha tells the cloud, if at all my wife is sleeping when you go there, then don't disturb her. She can sleep only for 3 hours, not more than that. She is a Padmini type of heroine, so she won't sleep for 6 hours, 9 hours, like, Hastini type of heroine. She is a Padmini, so she will sleep only for 3 hours. So how would you wake her up? Don't rumble loudly so that she'll get frightened. Oh, who is there? Not like that. You sprinkle gently the droplets of water on her face, okay? And that water should be carrying the fragrance of Malati Yuthika, from the jasmine grove, the winds will come, the breezes would come. So that breeze will slowly and gently caress the feet of my Priya, and like that you wake her up. So now, Sukha Shayita Pritchika. Because Shakuntala will be having Sukha Shayita Pritchika for that. Banabhatta mentions, like Tambula Karanka Vahini. This was a role assigned to a lady. One who would carry Tambula, the betel leaf, Tambula, Pansupari Vida, in a Karanka, in a box. And that box, that petika, she would carry wherever Chandrapida would go. So Tambula Karanka Vahini. And she was Patralekha. She was another king's daughter, Patralekha, Kulu Maharajasya Putri. So these are different roles. Now here there are no roles. These Sakhis also, they take up extra roles for themselves, and because out of love for Shakuntala. So Sukha Shayita Pritchika. But I feel there is an indication to her royal thing, which is coming hereafter. So Sukha Shayita Pritchika Shakuntala Sakasham Gatasmi. She might have gone just to ask, because she is pregnant, she is Apanna Sattva, so there may be some problems, physical, mental, and husband is away. She must be thinking of him. So, did you sleep well? Are you okay? So ask that. I went there. Tatastataha. Tell now what next? How did it all happen? And Priyambada starts from the scratch. Idanim Shruno. Sukha Shayita Pritchika Shakuntala Sakasham Gatasmi. Tatastataha. Tataha. Tavad enam lajjavanatamukhim parishvajya tatakashyapena evam abhinanditam. That time I saw that Tatakashyapa is already there in her kutiya, in her room, and he has hugged her nicely, he has embraced her. How she is? Lajja avanata mukhi, who has cast her face down due to shyness. So that bashful Shakuntala, who has cast her head down, to such a Shakuntala, Tatakashyapa congratulated by embracing her, by hugging her tightly. And he said, Dishtya, congratulations. Dishtya, congrats. What? Dhuma kulita drishte api yajamanasya pavake eva ahutihi patita. This is a very, very remarkable sentence. There is the yajna happening, some yajna happening. There is a yajamana. Now, when the yajna is happening, there will be a lot of smoke coming out. Every time there won't be just the blazing fire. Sometimes the fire doesn't get kindled so nicely, and atल्या dhumsat rahato agni. Then that time there is a lot of smoke. And when we have some Ganesha Yaga or something at home, we also feel, oh, there is a lot of home. So somebody puts some karpura or, some fagot and thoda usko hilao so that the flame comes up, So dhuma kulita drishte yajamanasya. So the yajamana getting his eyes covered by smoke, very, very natural. And when it is covered, and every time the priest utters swaha, you have to put the ahuti. Now, when your eyes are already, like covered with smoke, you don't see where the fire is. Still, if you are able to put the ahuti in the fire, you have won. There you are. So, here is Dhuma Kulita Drishti Yajamana, who is Dushyanta. But then his ahuti, his teja, whatever he has given up, surrendered, that has been placed in the yajna itself, in the chiti itself, that is in Shakuntala's womb. So, because she is Apanna Sattva, right? And therefore, Dhuma Kulita Drishte api. Now here Dhuma Kulita Drishti, you can say that Dushyanta maddened with love. And therefore, he did not think anything, as if his eyes got covered, right? That is very logical. So dhuma kulita drishte api yajamanasya pavake eva ahutihi patita. So this has been done very nicely. And vatse, and then he further explains, it like vatse sushishya paridatta vidya iva ashochaniyasi samvrutta. As the vidya, the knowledge imparted to a deserving shishya, deserving disciple, then the guru need not worry, oh, I have given whatever I had, and what this fellow, my shishya, is going to do with it, I don't know. But if it is sushishya, the guru need not worry. About what? The vidya. Similarly here now, in the upper line it is dhuma kulita yajamana. It is okay for Dushyanta. Now here he is a guru, and Shakuntala is Sushishya, and that Vidya which he has given is his teja which he has imparted. Okay. So Sushishya Paridatta Vidya Iva. So Guru always revels in the fact that his tradition will be continued by his Shishya. Similarly now, Dushyanta will be happy that his lineage would continue with Shakuntala's. Of course, he doesn't know she is pregnant, but then these are all indications of her apanna sattvatva. So Vidya iva ashochaniya si samvrutta. So there is no point of having any ill thoughts, or why did you marry when I was not here, without my permission, without my anumati, this, that, without consulting me, So whatever is done is for the good. Okay. Adyeva, and now once it is, he has accepted it, he has congratulated her. Now why to keep her for long? She is apanna sattva, she has to go back. Right? And therefore, adyeva, today itself, adyeva rushi rakshitam tvam bhartuhu sakasham visarjayami iti. So today itself I will send you rushi rakshitam, protected by the ascetics, by the seers, bhartuhu sakasham, I will send you near your husband. But still Anasuya doesn't know who told Kanuva. Kanuva congratulated her. Kanuva knew about this. But who told him? Because she is all the time thinking of it. And how to tell and this and that, Who told him? Atha kena suchitaha tata kashyapasya vrittantaha. Priyambada, she is building up her curiosity. She is not telling, oh, this happened, Tata Kashyapa was told. No, nothing. झटके से कुछ बताएगी वो प्रियंवदा कैसी है? वो थोड़ा बिल्डअप करेगी, टेंशन बिल्डअप करेगी, क्यूरियोसिटी बिल्डअप करेगी, and then she will reveal. So, who's indicated that to Tata Kashyapa? Then Priyambada says, this should have come first, but that is drama. Priyambada says, Agni Sharanam Pravishtasya Ashariram Vina Chandomaya Vanya. A Chandomayi Vani, like Chandas, meter, a metrical verse, Ashariri, without having any body. So there was an aerial voice, and through that voice it was revealed in a Shloka form, in a prosodial form. When Agni Sharanam Pravishtasya Tata Kashyapasya Suchitam. Okay. Atha kena suchitaha Tata Kashyapasya vrittantaha. Kena suchitaha Chandomaya Vanya suchitaha. Yada Tata Kashyapaha Agni Sharanam Pravishtaha tada. Agni Sharanam is a house. Shiryante dukkhani atra iti Sharanam nama graham. And therefore graha also has the name called Asta. Asta is setting, we say. Chandra Surya Udayasta. But Asta also means a house, because there all our worries end. Home sweet home. So Asta, Sharana. Agni Sharana is Agnishala. So Tata Kashyapa would go into the Homavela, the Shishya also says Homavela Sanjata Idanim. So I have to go and do all the things. So Tata Kashyapa entered Agnishala, where he does Agnihotra every day. The moment he entered, there was an aerial voice, and that uttered a verse through which he came to know this. Savismayam. Oh, wow, great. Savismayam. But Kathamiva, what was the shloka? How was it worded? Kathamiva Chandomaya Vanya Suchitaha. But how? Still, there is bit curiosity. It was told, it was revealed to Tata Kashyapa by aerial voice, but what were exactly the words, right? We are curious to know details, right? Sanskritam Ashritya. Normally Priyambada and all the Sakhis are speaking in Prakrit, we have seen. But here, because she is echoing, repeating the shloka, she will speak Sanskrit. दुष्यन्ते नाहितं तेजो दधानां भूतये भुवः अवेहितनयां ब्रह्मन् अग्निगर्भां शमीमिव. Very, very beautiful verse. Nice meter, Anushtup. Normally all these Chandomayi Vani, because Anushtup, Gayatri, these are the basic meters of Chandas of the Veda, right? And therefore, Sanskritam Ashritya, she says, Dushyantena ahitam tejaha dadhanam. And this ahitam tejam kasyarthe bhuvaha bhutaye. For the welfare, bhuvaha, bhuloka, bhutaye, for the development, for the progress, for the progress of and for the development vikasaya, bhuvaha, of this entire earth. Dadhana, one who is carrying the teja, the luster, which is placed in her by Dushyanta. So, Dushyantena ahitam tejaha dadhanam. This tejaha, what is the purpose of that teja? Bhuvaha bhutaye. This has been placed by Dushyanta for the welfare of the entire humanity. So, that also is very, very suggestive. Anena bhavi rajaputrasya sarvabhaumatvam chakravartitvam lakshate. Bharata, who is going to be born, on whom this entire country got the name Bharatavarsha, is going to be a sovereign king because bhuvaha bhutaye, for the welfare of the humanity, right? So, Dushyantena ahitam tejaha dadhana bhuvaha bhutaye, Dushyantena ahitam tejaha dadhanam tanayam he brahman agnigarbham shamim iva avehi. No, ava plus e. E is to go, but ava plus in gatau is to know. Like ava buddha, ava bodha, knowledge, right? Avehi. So you know, O Brahman, O Brahmana, O Rishivara, O Maharshi, you know for certain that this your Tanaya is having the luster placed in her by Dushyanta for the welfare of mankind. You know her like Agni Garbham Shamim Iva, like a Shami creeper or a Shami tree, basically a tree, but here now it is Shakuntala and therefore Shami, you just say Shami, it is Ikaranta Strilinga, like a Strilinga word. So the Shami who has Agni in its Garbha. Now this has so many stories, the basic story goes back to Pururava Urvashi Katha in the Shatapatha Brahmana. And that is given in the Rigveda Samvada Sukta, Pururava Urvashi Samvada Sukta. But in the Sukta, this Shami and this thing, they don't come. It is only in the Brahmana literature when the story comes. And later on in the Matsya Purana and other Puranas, etc., the story comes, There it is given in detail that when Urvashi married Dushyanta, but that was a contractual marriage. And the contract was the moment Dushyanta sees his son delivered by Urvashi, Urvashi will go back to Indraloka. And Dushyanta sees his son Ayu, and therefore Urvashi disappears. The Urvashi goes back, but Dushyanta is so madly in love with her, he can't stay without her. And then he asks Indra, his best friend, how do I reunite, with Urvashi? And then Indra says that you have to perform a sacrifice, a yajna. And for that he carried Agni from Devaloka, from Indraloka. That Agni was in a fire pan, Okay, in a fire pan, there is a vessel and there is a lid over that. Okay, the story comes in the Brahmana. And Indra told him not to place it anywhere on the ground. But when this Pururava came down on the earth, he happened to place it on the ground in the forest, and the lid and the patra, they both turned into two different trees. One of them was Shami. One of them is Shami. Okay. So the Shami and the other is Ashwatha people. Ashwatha. So Ashwatha and Shami, these are the two trees, and therefore these two trees are said to have Agni in their womb because they carried Agni. So this story goes back to the Brahmanas. Dushyanta, Kalidasa certainly knows that story. So Shami, and when you are, and therefore the Agni got disappeared. Agni turned into these two trees, and therefore when you are desirous of performing a sacrifice, you get the fagots, the wood from these two trees as the indana and kindle the fire. And therefore Shami has Agni in it. That is a Sanketa. It is not just a Kavi Sanketa, it has Chandasa Pramana. It has a Brahmana tradition also behind that. And our Kalidasa is very fond of this simile, Agni Garbham Shamimiva. In fact, in the Raghuvamsha, in the third sarga, we see that Dilipa was childless and he went and did seva of Nandini, the cow, in the hermitage of Vasishtha along with his wife Sudakshina, and then Sudakshina became pregnant later on. We have Simha Dilipa Samvada in the second sarga. In the third sarga, Dilipa finds her as Gurvini, as pregnant, and then there Kalidasa writes, Shamim iva abhyantara leena pavakam mahishim amanyata. Dilipa saw his queen Mahishi, the Patta Mahishi, the chief queen, as Shamim iva antaralina pavakam, as Shami, who has pavaka, fire, subsiding or residing inside it. Shamim iva antarlina. So it is lean, it is hidden. You have to get it manifested by kindling it. By friction, you have to kindle it and then the fire will come out. But it is Agni Garbha. So Shami is always stated to be Agni Garbha. So by this, what is suggested? The Dahakatva and the Tejasvita of Agni. So Bharata will be Dahaka for his enemies. He will be vanquishing all the enemies. He would be like a very brave king, Chakravarti king and all that, but he will be very glorious, resplendent. Dahaka and Teja, both these things. And in the Mahabharata Virata Parva, Pandavas hid their ayudhas in the Shami tree. This Shami tree in Karnataka is called as Banni Gida. And on the Vijayadashmi day in the Maharashtra, we celebrate, by distributing the leaves of apta. Apta is a tree, and the leaves of that are distributed as Suvarna. And that again goes back to the fourth sarga of Raghuvamsha, where Kautsa comes to ask for Guru Dakshina. You know that story, Raghu Kautsa Samvada. So Kautsa, Varatantu Shishya, and he has graduated and he wants to offer some Guru Dakshina, but he is a poor Brahmana chap, he doesn't have anything. And Varatantu doesn't want anything, but when he insists, he says, oh, I want so many thousands of Suvarna Mudras, go and get it for me. Now where will he go? So he came to King Raghu. King Raghu had already performed a sacrifice called Vishwajit, in which he had given everything, whatever he had, as dana. So he himself had only the earthen pots with him. He didn't have anything because sab luta diya tha, dan dakshina mein. So when the Kautsa came, it was a wrong time for Raghu to give him anything, but he can't send him back without fulfilling his desire. So he said, just wait for a night, I will get you all these thousands of gold mudras, and he decided, I will attack Kubera's country. Kubera is the treasurer of gods. So let me loot all that money, and give it to him. So Kubera, when उसको थोड़ी सी भनक लग गई उसकी, then he said, no, he should not come and fight with me, I will lose the fight. So he showered, all the suvarna on that tree under which Kautsa was residing or staying, had stopped, and the whole tree that happened to be the aptaचं झाड. Apta is like what there are dvidala, like a heart-shaped leaves on both sides. It is some flower is there, it looks like an apta. मला त्या फुलाचं नाव आता आठवत नाही, whatever. So in Maharashtra, आपट्याची पानं सुवर्ण म्हणून देतात. So it is distributed as suvarna on the Vijayadashmi day. But in the Karnataka, it is the shami leaves, and shami leaves are like thin leaves, like tamarind. You have seen the tamarind tree, right? Tamarind tree के जैसे ही compound leaves are there, one big leaf and both sides small. You got the picture? Yeah. So Shami, you get the picture, okay? Now I would advise you to go through a very wonderful Marathi book by Professor Neela Korde. Recently I got it from her when I was in Mumbai. It is Vriksha Anubandha. It's in Marathi. She has given some 11-13 trees she has discussed with Sanskrit literature, with the Ayurveda reference, with the Pali Prakrit literary references. It's a very well researched book. So that Shami article you can find if you Google in Marathi. You Google in Marathi, you write Shami, and that entire article with the picture will come, okay? So you can read that book for yourself. So in the Mahabharata, Pandavas hid their ayudhas on the Shami tree. So and therefore Ayudha Puja is done and all that. Then Ayurveda, it is said to be very medicinal. In Brihat Samhita, it is said that wherever you find Shami trees, in the Dakargala Adhyaya, Dakargala is underwater detection. Very interesting chapter, Dakargala Adhyaya. So in that it is said that some 50 meters ahead of the Shami tree, you dig for some 100 feet, you will get water. So it indicates water as well. So and in the Jyotisha Shastra, this becomes a nakshatra vriksha for those who are born on the Dhanishta nakshatra. So Shami has so many different uses, okay? So Agni Garbham Shami Miva. So Shami is supposedly having Agni hidden in it. So Agni stays in Shami vriksha in a latent form. And when it has to come out, it will be Dahaka and Tejasvi. So now she is Apanna Sattva, she has not yet delivered, and therefore the Garbha is, but the Garbha is comparable to Agni, so it is as lustrous as fire. Again, the fire is, if you go back to the Rigvedic tradition, the ritualistic tradition, fire is the important deity in the ritualistic perspective of the Vedic literature, and therefore in all the mandalas you take, the first sukta will always be Agni Sukta. First sukta will always be Agni Sukta. And this is the Agni who the Madhuchanda Rishi says, Vaishwamitra, that Supayano Bhava, Yatha Pite Vasunave, Supayano Bhava. So Agni is not only Dahaka, it just doesn't burn all the time, it's assuring like a father. It is like Atithihi Durone. He is like Atithi. He is the Grihapati. He is one of our family members. And therefore, Agni could be approached by seers. Agnihi purvebhihi rushibhihi idyaha nutanaihi uta. So all the Puratana Rishis and the Nutana Rishis are praising this Agni. Oh Agni, you be like a father to his son. So he is a fatherly figure, an elderly person in the house. So her son will also become a fatherly figure, an elderly person, one who lends his shoulder to all for crying, and one who supports everybody like a father, So her Bharata would be like that, a very Prajahita Daksha Raja and all that. All these are dhvanis, all these are suggestions, okay? So Agni Garbham Shamimiva, of course, for the enemies, he would be as brave as a fire, and who cannot be defeated at all. So Agni Garbham Shamimiva. Anasuya, Priyam Badam Ashlishya, she's so happy now. She's so happy. All her dejection, all her anxiety, they have melted away. She's so happy. Sakhi, Priyam me. Priyam me. So very colloquial. किती आनंद झालाय काय सांगू तुला, Priyam me. I'm so happy. Once I was discussing with some students, I think 10-15 years back, we had a vending machine in our Mumbai University lecture complex, and we used to have tea and coffee, in the lecture breaks. So one day somebody offered me a cup of coffee, and I said, thank you, dhanyavadaha. I said, dhanyavadaha. Then the student wanted to say, oh, my pleasure. So what should I say in Sanskrit? I say, Priyam me. So Priyam me could be used, my pleasure, me Priyam, This is so very colloquial. So you say dhanyavada, my pleasure you say in English, right? Don't mention, it is all old now. No mention, don't mention, it is old. What you say nowadays? My pleasure. It's a small thing, my pleasure. So my pleasure, Priyam me. सकलोक्वियल सखी प्रियम में किंतु अद्येव शकुंतला नीयते इति उत्कंठा साधारणं परितोषम अनुभवामि. I am परितोषम अनुभवामि. I am experiencing joy. परितोषम, परितः, सर्वतः तोषम, संतोषम अनुभवामि. But it is sadharana, it is shared with, coupled with, mixed with utkantha, little kheda. Because she will be adyevaniyate, because she will be taken today itself. Okay, so Anasuya is happy for Shakuntala, and dukhi for her own self, because they will be all left alone now without their friends, and this ashrama would become shunya without Shakuntala. So adyeva Shakuntala niyate iti utkantha sadharanam paritosham anubhavami. Let her experience that utkantha also and paritosham also. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.